call the meeting to order and have everybody join in a flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I think we've got everybody from the district that's on the core district team. The only people we're missing are the architects. So we're gonna start up. I have their notes, so we'll start going through what they have in their notes and try and cover some of the stuff without them. So the biggest things I think we want to accomplish today is what's on the agenda is outline the process and a schedule of the meetings, and then to determine who the stakeholder committee is and what their involvement is and how we're going to recruit for that committee. I have this, I have a tentative schedule, so the way they have this schedule laid out as what they put in the RFP is phase one is the discovery phase, and that's due to start the middle of November. So when they get here, we'll actually try and nail down a date for that particular meeting and a location for it. Last time we did it at the high school in the library. And it's kind of comfortable in there, but it's not very, I don't know, structured, organized. It's like people are scattered all over the place. I don't know if, whoever was on that committee last time, how you guys felt about that particular location, or if we would prefer to do it here.
Yeah, and the high school library is kind of under construction too, which is a little tricky. We can fit 30 or so in here comfortably, 30 to 40. Above that, it starts to get a little cramped. The middle school library would be the other option. They've got tables set up and you can get 50, 60 in there pretty easily. So there's not a great screen in there, but we can wheel some in. So I'd say, picking on our numbers, probably the middle school library would be our best bet, or here.
Okay. I think, I know what they look at for target numbers is like between 20 and 25. So if we can do 30 in here comfortably, we could do it here. I'd like the library to make it 297.
Do we want to figure out how many?
It has
people are
better
in it?
parking.
I like here because of the screens, really easy to see with tech, but if we're kind of pushing 30, we might want to consider there.
It's certainly logistically easier here than it would be out there. So if we can make it work here, that's great. The last time though, we also did like these little breakout. We'll have to talk through how the tech side is gonna work.
We did do
Go forward.
those breakout meetings.
Yeah, like little individual group tables. So we'll have to see how we do that with recording.
We could always have a meeting, if we're gonna do breakout tables, we could always do the meeting in a different location.
Sure.
Okay, so the first meeting is mid-November, and then it looks like this, the second meeting is the phase 2 envision meeting. And we started already. Oh, welcome.
Where do you want me?
Wherever you want to sit, it's fine. Great. So just kind of going through the schedule and where we want to meet. So what do you guys like for an ideal number of committee members on the stakeholder? And when you say stakeholder, you put stakeholder committee on here, is that all the community people that we had like last time? And
Yes,
Okay.
it would be. Do we have, DLR group?
They haven't joined yet.
They haven't joined yet.
No, I can follow up with them by email and see if they are having. any
Because they have
issues.
the link and we put a little presentation together that
Okay.
we're gonna broadcast.
We'll reach out to them by email really fast and see.
I talked to Robert on the way here. Said. Till they make 4 like stuck behind a tractor here.
that happens a lot too.
I even left an extra like 10 minutes, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, so hold that thought.
Okay,
Did you already do your pledge of allegiance?
yes, we did.
Okay. Alright.
Yep.
I'm going to,
You can give them a call.
yeah, give them a call, make sure that they're not having issues with the link. And I don't see them yet.
Hey, can you guys not connect? It says on their end there that the host has another meeting in progress.
Make sure I'm giving them the right.
Just in there. Waiting room.
I'll recently know that I gave you the wrong one.
They're gonna resend you over to this. Okay, but I'm here, so I'll get started. Okay. I think with all of our practice, but you know, all of our online meetings, we've seen this.
Yeah.
Thank you all for your patience. We'll work on that. Your sharing screen tonight, once you get them, can I just give you this?
Yeah.
Two PowerPoints on there, whichever one's dating. Go here.
The later date. Perfect.
I made a last minute change right before I left. Yeah, that's 307. Maybe someone has a special one, so,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, thank you.
Always.
Okay. I don't know if that's what. Okay, while our partners are getting online, I can start. I'm Heidi Slaybaugh. Yes, Anna, nice to see you. I was lucky enough to help facilitate your last long range facility plan. We have already done the facility assessments, and so today we're gonna go over who the team is for the 2025-26 long range facility plan. We have teamed up with DLR Group. My previous company, BLRB, closed their doors about 3 years ago, so I'm with a new company now called Cole. Not a new company, but it's a newer to me. I've been there 2.5, 3 years now. And really excited to continue this process and be here for the long run, right? To do it a couple years ago, Leland and I worked on a number of projects together. So got 2 team members who are looking like they're connecting. And wanted to just walk you through what a long range facility plan is. I don't know if you guys have all done one before. No. Okay, hi Karen.
Hi.
Right, we got new connections. So Karen and Robert are slowly getting connected. They're with DLR Group, and I'll let them give a little introduction when we get to their part. I'm just gonna keep the ball rolling here. So the long range facility plan is, it's looking at your facilities right now and where you want to go in the next 10, 20 years. The Department of Education gives grants to rural districts for doing facility assessments and then this long range facility plan. And those set you up to be eligible for an awesome grant. Sounds really cool, awesome grants. And that is the Oregon, let's see, good test question for me. Oregon School, something municipal capital. Let's see, I am matching, it's a matching grant. And So it's a really great program, because then whatever amount you pass in your bond up to, sometimes it's 10 to 20,000, 20 million, I always do that. The Oregon Department of Education will match it, so if you do these steps early on, so it's a really great program in order to get things rolling. And making your money go a lot further.
Is there a limit on the amount?
There is a limit. Karen, do you happen to know what the limits are right now? Cause I know is it 6 million? You already cap is, okay. So 6 million. So you pass a bond for 6 million, you get 6 million. You pass a bond for 20 million, you get 6 million. So still better than no millions.
Mhm.
Millions are a lot of,
That's up to.
you're right,
Right.
right. Yes, thank you. So working through that, we like to get partners involved, as Leland was jumping in, asking us who our partners want to be. So we'll get into another step in this when we're talking about who our partners are. We look at stakeholders, and I've just been informed we don't use that word. So interested parties, partners, community advocates, we'll have to come up with a new word. Why? It's a derogatory term,
What's the dog?
stakeholders. Yes.
The cows?
Right, or ODOT has already implemented, you can't use that, and it's passing down. I was just at a conference, the State Heritage Department, and they passed that. Okay. Yeah, cause you're holding the stake out in the fields, I can think of so many of those things are, so. If your district and your community are okay using the word stakeholder, we will be okay using the word stakeholder.
I can't speak for the community, but I've never heard that as a derogatory term.
Nor would I want to even bring that up.
Yeah, let's go with stakeholders.
Yeah.
Stakeholders, it is,
In a good faith, good,
in the
Goodwill
way
to all.
we all are used to and accustomed to using that term, right?
Love it, love it.
Invested parties, interested parties. So here we are, looking at developing this new plan. And we want to get community engagement, because you want these stakeholders who are community members, right? It could be our new partners, maybe Facebook and the data centers, because they want to know what's going on with the kids in town, because they want to eventually recruit kids. It may be the hospital. It may be the agricultural industry, and maybe Les Schwab still. Right, so those big players in town, it could be some of the smaller players too, who have an invested interest in what the school districts are doing and what they're promoting. Not necessarily the programs per se, but they want to give back to their community, or they want to maybe even take back from the community, right? Invest the kids and the next generations into this community so they stay. So we're looking at people like that who might have, like I say, an invested interest. And then, as you know, we're already back doing another upgrade, because, right, you have a long-term plan, but you want to look at it every 5 years, and update it. So this is just a picture of the previous long-range facility plan we did in 2021. Yeah, so just going through good long-range facility plans, we're only gonna do a good long-range facility plan for you. We are not going to supplement you or subject you to a bad long-range facility plan. So with that, we're always we'll be talking about vision and your objectives. It may just be, we want a bond. Well, then we want to know what the ins and outs and all the aspects of, acquiring a bond in the future go to. As Leland's probably most big objective is the problem identification. I think you already have a big list, but prioritizing those, right? Making sure the community knows that those are problems, and addressing those and prioritizing those, coming up with different alternatives. And then we go through the process of analyzing them, prioritizing them in order to, go out for a bond, if that is indeed your main goal. That makes sense, everybody?
Is the
Mhm.
future enrollment projections and capacity involved in that analysis and evaluation stage?
Yeah. So Karen is gonna touch on, oh, did I lose my,
Yeah, hold on. Go ahead.
there we go. Karen, I'll let you jump in, if you will, on the ins and outs of what ODE, Oregon Department of Education, they have some strict requirements on what goes into a plan, and then we supplement that with the vision and the goals and everything like that too.
Certainly. So they do have requirements about engagement, making sure you're engaging the community, that you are looking at capacity, incorporating the physical assessment information, and also looking at educational adequacy. So that also is a component. They really want to be great advocates for districts. And so they're very easy to work with on their requirements. But those are some of the things that they have a listing out of the different components. And so the final deliverable will be addressing each one of those issues that they have as part of the framework. And it is part of the process of applying for an awesome grant is to complete a long range plan within their framework.
So I made a couple copies of this PowerPoint, just so you have it.
Good.
You don't have to write all those things down. I didn't make enough copies, but apologies. So we want to know what you're objecting. We know what the ODE program, their technical assistant grants set you up for, and it's to go out for a bond and get the awesome, there it is, there's my acronym spelled out, program, so you can have that matching grant. Have you all been able to think about overarching goals for this process?
That's certainly a bond.
Certainly a bond,
you know, I
okay.
think we've gone out, the last two have failed. So I think we're definitely have a lot of big projects that, you know, and also as we've looking at enrollment projections, needing to have a plan to eventually that leads to a bond.
Right.
I'm trying to remember, does this building assessment show a comparison? If you've got a building that's got a lot of needs and the cost of that versus the cost of just rebuilding?
It does, yes, so. Back up a little bit, the facility assessments, we have a team of, myself and consultants, and Robert was one who was out here for 2 or 3 days a couple months ago, analyzing and looking at each building. The Oregon Department of Education has this huge spreadsheet where we note every single condition, from the rooftop vent to a foundation drain, and every single thing you can see in between. We even look at furniture, the condition of furniture, the condition of your carpeting, and then things that you can't see, mechanical systems, electrical systems, plumbing systems. Not a full-fledged test of those systems, but more of an observation of those systems, looking at, structural components and functions of that. And we have met with facilities department and players at each school to get their insight and input, as well as the principals and some staff members. So this program that we use from the state then goes through and we mark the extent of remodel or repair that is needed for each element. And this newer version now projects out costing for 5 years of what it would cost to repair everything versus what it would cost to replace in kind. So we're not looking at a replacement that doubles your occupancy. You're looking at costs of replacement of like occupancy, like kind, but bringing it up to what the state has deemed educational sufficiency or educational standards. Basically looking at Barnes Butte when we were doing the assessments. Okay, well, Barnes Butte is sort of our model of, this is what the state says every school across Oregon should have. Right? And then most other facilities in this district don't meet that same bar, right? So then we'll have this spreadsheet and these documents that show us, well, how much, how much money are we looking at to repair the middle school to bring it up to a Barnes Butte level, right? And then we'll show, well, maybe it doesn't factor, right? It doesn't pencil to repair it as opposed to replace it. So we'll be able to see those numbers. And those numbers are allocated, they use a third party, ODE uses a third party who sets costing to every district, every region throughout Oregon. So Prineville is not using the same figures that Portland is using. They are dedicated to this region, looking at the cost factors and labor and material costing. So at least in that sense, it gives ODE an apples to apples comparison as opposed to, Cole Architects going out and doing our own assessment and another firm doing their own assessment and then trying to compare them all together. We're using the same factors all the way through.
Is that local contractors then as well, or not necessarily?
It's not necessarily, I don't know the full ins and outs on how they do, but it's a cost estimating company who specializes in cost estimating throughout the state. Do you have anything else, Karen, to add to that on how still RLB, our BL, who's doing the cost estimating for?
No, I just agree with you. No, that was a great explanation. You're right. They do localize the costing data, and they are a highly reputable firm that does an extensive amount of cost estimation.
We will be able to share that with you
Mhm.
soon. Are inputting all that data right now.
Yeah.
It's quite a process.
That information will be very important, of course, to your community, as well as the financial resources that you have available to you, which would also, kind of be a factor in this process of looking about, as you get into the plan, how much improvements might cost, and then what is that impact to taxpayers.
And go over how we do our long range facility plan process, Karen?
Certainly, I'd be happy to. So I think as we've outlined in the presentation that you should have there in front of you, 4 basic phases. And I will say, Heidi and I've been talking about this, and we have a kind of a process outlined, but we also want to make sure that it's tailored to your needs and your own objectives and what you would like out of this process. So feel free to jump in, ask questions, or if you kind of see things, want to do things a little bit differently, that is totally fine. Typically, we organize our work in working very closely with that stakeholder group. And that also includes parents, it includes educators, it includes, just your community, a good representation of your community. And what we believe is that if you involve your community and provide them good data and engage them in the process of creating the plan, they see their voice in it. They understand the why of the eventual ask, and it really increases the likelihood of successful passage. So this part of the process is 4 phases, and phase 1 is what we call discover, and that is that data gathering. So as Heidi so well explained, the physical needs assessment, we summarize that information and bring it to the stakeholder group in a workshop format. We also do capacity analysis. I think you've been one of the absolute few districts in the state that has been growing or that might be more of an issue. So we look at capacity. And then we also look at educational adequacy, and that's part of that awesome grant assessment work as well. But those are typically the 3 different areas that generate facility improvements. And then the second phase is envision. So this is, again, we do this like in a 4-workshop process and do one about a month. And this second workshop, the envision workshop, is just making sure that we are within the mission and vision statement of the district, and talking to your community about also what their views are as far as what they want out of facility improvements. So definitely communities, there's some things that communities often really hold dear, and oftentimes that is taking good care of their assets. So critical repairs to facilities, safety and security, potentially CTE, or, kind of respect local industries. And then there's also a piece of where they feel like, okay, this is going to help benefit my child educationally. So there can be an educational component. But this envisioning process is where we collectively talk about, well, what would we like to see as improvements in our facilities, and start to kind of brainstorm a plan. We take that information back and work as a team to kind of flesh that out, and from that create say different options of a plan, usually about 3 different options, but it depends. And that goes into that third phase of conceptualize. And we come back in workshop 3 and we say, this is what we heard. This is the information that we have. Here's 3 different facility plan improvement approaches. And we work with the stakeholder group and the core team. Of course, we're in constant communication with you as well, and you are part of this group as well. And we start to narrow in on a plan, or maybe it's a plan with a couple of options. And then by phase 4 in the 4th workshop, we finalize the plan. And again, it's a very engaged partnership process. Our role as facilitators, Heidi and I, is to kind of shepherd the committee through the process. So that's kind of
Thanks.
it in a nutshell. And then from there, we write up the plan. And one other thing is just simply to state that oftentimes it's stated at the beginning that this is an advisory group, and they make the recommendation either to the superintendent or to the board. And then it's the board's decision what to do with that report. And does that go on the ballot, or does it get tweaked? But we also try to keep the board informed throughout the process. There's no surprises at the end.
Great. Any questions on that process?
I will ask, does that sound like that fits with what your expectations are, or what you would like to see out of this? Or, like I said, we're happy to tweak this if that's not quite in alignment.
That's with me, but this isn't my first one, so.
As we start to plan future meetings, we were discussing which room do we want to be in? And we were talking about how it would depend on the number of people. And so, as you were talking about, sometimes there will be parents, community members. I don't know if they'll be in all of the meetings. So if there are some meetings where we have more people, do you kind of have an outline for how we can schedule our rooms?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So this is schedule. You guys all have a copy now, as what we were talking about with, basically having 1 workshop a month. And it's up to you if you want, if I can go back to this, if you want, if we look at this, the people who are in this room today as our core group. Okay, and then we look at who our stakeholder group is. It's really up to the core group, how much involvement you want from the stakeholder group. My personal suggestion is that we get more involvement from the stakeholders this time. I don't think we engaged enough of that broad range community last time, and we didn't have that buy-in that Karen was talking about. So my lesson learned is I'm gonna push you to say, yes, let's get more stakeholders in.
I would agree, and I also think it's one thing, not in a bad or good way, but it seemed like. We asked for stakeholders and you just talked at them versus truly listen to them, so I think I really wanna prioritize. And this might not be probably like, I would get anyone who's interested in.
Mm,
And I know that it's hard to make, more people you bring into a room, the harder it is to make a decision, I totally understand that. But then I also, we're looking for people to be on our team, and the more people we have kind of pushing this rock up the hill, the better
Mhm.
down the road. So, yeah, I would say the more the better, and let's really make sure we're hearing, like, if we're asking people to give their opinion, then I think we also need to listen to that opinion. We obviously can't do it for everyone, but authentically listening, I think would be a big thing.
Right. So the
that's,
the discover is a lot of data that we're giving out, right? So that one, I don't wanna scare a whole bunch of people off by having at that meeting, but they also should hear the information. So, but the envision and the conceptualize, like, those are the two biggest meetings to have as many people at as possible. But again, if they're not at that first meeting, they're not gonna hear all that information that we've gathered, so. I'm looking to you on how you feel is most comfortable with you know, who these people are, and then we'll talk about who are the stakeholders.
One other, and you reminded me of, again, this is just previous experience. Having people come in and just an hour of line by line. I just really think about our audience and what we're asking of them, because I think we almost lost some people because we were giving such,
Too much information.
we were way beyond what any general public would care about, but I know it's also important to have that information, so I just wanna be super intentional about how we're bringing people in and what we're doing with them, cause you can burn out good, well-intentioned people by making it feel like it's wasting their time.
that's an excellent point. I completely agree. And that's the tricky balance of how do you give people enough information that they feel like they understand the issues so that they can thoughtfully engage. And I have seen this work very well if it's the same people through all 4 workshops. And we do try to do it in such a way that, you know, they do get a lot of information the first workshop, but each one we also provide activities and exercises so that really it works at its best when people are meeting in small table groups and they're discussing the issues and they're brainstorming together and they're sharing their input. It takes a little bit of shepherding them through the process. So, you know, we make sure it doesn't go off the rails. But, you know, to your earlier point too, when they see that, okay, you asked our opinion and you are actually it's influencing the direction of where we're going. You're listening to me. They do get more engaged. And that does lead to more support. And I agree with you too about the type of people that come to the table. You know, your community is very diverse and having good diverse representation and even what we call the thoughtful naysayers. So someone that may be not necessarily typically in support of a bond, but can look at the issues and understand, yes, um, this is, you know, it's asking for more money, but I understand the need and I understand the why. So, but yeah, having those people at the workshops is very good because the information builds one from each workshop builds on the other.
I also don't think that the last time we went through this process that we were recording and posting. So I think having minutes to go back and read for the community, I think the community having the ability to go back and go through the oftentimes long and dry detail of all the little things that need to happen. Or you can use that to create a summary of some of the, just the broader totality of issues that are present. That could be helpful just from like a community involvement, transparency piece that maybe didn't exist last time.
Another way we could do it, and I'm thinking out loud here too, is instead of going over in our first meeting, the big ideas, right? And we could break out by, hey, this is the elementary school group, this is the middle school group, and this is the high school group. Then everybody in the room doesn't have to listen through, these are all the issues at all the elementary schools. Right, these are the issues at the middle school, that'd be one way to do it and have, kind of sections grouped off. I'd like to make sure we kind of rotate people through, and maybe it's a rotation type event too. But we're open to all sorts of ideas, and I've done it 8 or 9 times. DLR group has done it 1,000,000 times. Every single district does it a different way. So lessons learned from the previous one, right? The 5 that I was doing in 2021, every single district was different way of doing it. So there is no right or wrong way, but obviously we want to improve on what we did previously so we can get more engagement and get a bond pass this time. We know what our goals are.
We do have needs that aren't necessarily at a school, so.
That's
One of
true.
the things we came up with last time was, trying to figure out a way to build a central services building.
Yes,
So making sure that everyone in the room understands.
that's important too, right?
Yeah, because they care about their kids' school,
Mhm.
but we need to get them to.
Maybe
care.
that's not the best idea, right? Yeah.
Or just incorporate that in.
So, our team will brainstorm. This is really good input on different ways to go about it, to break down that information, so it's not such a long drawn out process of, okay, this school needs this and this and this and this and this, and this school needs this and that, right?
Just felt we lost momentum just in the like monotony of, and I don't know, because you do have to have all the information, just like we were with the teacher, like, hey, we gotta make this engaging, you know? I think similarly, we have to, we've got to build some positivity and excitement around this.
And this might mean that the core group meets and has that long, dry meeting, and then we can consolidate and prioritize, the top 50 items that we want to bring to the stakeholder group. And maybe that's the way we do it. We didn't do that last time.
Did we take any tours last time with the group?
It was very late. My remembrance was that it was very late in the process that we kind of threw out some, let's go look at the boilers at the middle school or things like that, but it wasn't like integrated throughout the
Right,
process.
it wasn't part of.
I don't want to begin with it.
Recording in progress.
Very flexible, yeah. Yeah, I walk around with Leland and I think people in the community that would walk around with Leland and be like, oh, okay. I mean, you can walk in the middle school and see the leaky ceiling. Like, we tried to fix this, it's more than worked out. Like, just a quick fix, we can't keep doing that, it costs more.
Show and tell is worth a lot.
Yeah.
I know,
think
that's
so, too.
engaged.
Yeah. That's better for me than sitting around.
I feel the few kind of site things we did were just, I mean, you have 1, maybe 2 people show up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just felt we were able to build that case in an engaging way.
That was when we were promoting the Bondo one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought the walkthroughs
Yeah.
were all bond, they were after this process, so maybe getting more people engaged at each facility during this process.
Yeah, and I think also, and I'm sure there were meetings like this, but like. In going through this a couple times, you've learned the process where I think some of the people that we, some of our stakeholders at the long range facilities were like, oh no, this is the bond planning. And then almost like disappointment of like, wait, what are you talking about? We're just going through spreadsheets, you know? So being more clear of like, and like you have here, of like, hey, what exactly are we doing as the long range facility process versus what is a bond campaign? 2 very different things, and I think we kind of merged those, and that maybe led to some disappointment of. when do we start talking about building a new school? You know, where it's like, no, this is not. And so yeah, some clarity on what we're actually doing in each step of that. Cause you have it spelled out of like, here are the phases for the long range facilities process, but then there's this whole other timeline of.
Yeah.
And then how does that turn into a bond? Which is beyond the scope of this.
Yeah.
Which I think that led to some, maybe some
It blurred the
disappointment last
lines.
time, yeah, for sure.
So do you have in your mind already, when you'd like to go out for a bond?
We've just talked in generalities about some options, not certainty on like exactly when that would be. But that would be something we'd want to talk through.
When would the earliest time we would be eligible for an awesome grant? November of 2026?
Yeah, so see if I'll apply for them. I can apply for the May one. If we have a long range facilities plan in place, I can apply for the May election.
I think that's why we
I
set
have to do
this,
that in December.
Okay.
I think the reason we set this timeline. Is so that you could apply if you wanted to in May,
Yeah.
so that the earliest opportunity for the board would be November 26th.
Yeah, that's,
I think that's why we kind of worked this timeline out, not that the board's.
it would be really difficult to try to put a bond together. I mean, if this is done in April, trying to put a bond together.
You run the risk of that same blending that happens.
I would think at earliest, and this would be way early, would be November 2026 or then maybe November 2026.
It'd be May of 2027 or
May
November.
22nd.
Yeah. So I think it's, and more likely the latter of the.
And you'd wanna look strategically at what other things are on the ballot.
Yeah,
How long is that, if you applied for the Austin grant and we got it, and you did this, the May one? How long do you have to use that, like, when does it expire?
so what happens is you apply for the grant, they will tell you whether or not you're successful and how much you would get.
Mhm.
And then if you pass the bond, I've never gotten it, so we've never passed the bond after we've gotten it. So-
Right.
So I don't know how long it takes for that to come into play, but I would think it would probably be pretty fast, probably as
Well,
fast
let
as
me
you can
help.
sell the bonds.
It doesn't really expire.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
So like, if we ended up, like, we got the go ahead, like, okay, yes, you can get your awesome grant of X amount of dollars. If we went for a bond in November of 2026. My point being is, would it be, it doesn't expire in like August, so if we go out for a bond in November, we lose that grant if we
Yeah, you have
don't
to,
use it.
you have to state what election you're going out. for.
Okay, that was,
So-
yes, thank you.
So like
Time
July, so if we were gonna go in November 2026, in July, I would just submit the application.
Right.
And that's for that election.
Okay,
So-
Pass
that
the
explains.
bond in that election, you tell them
Yes.
how much you're expecting to put on the ballot. And if you get the awesome grant and you pass a bond, you get the money.
Right,
But if you don't pass the bond, then you have to reapply
yes,
for the next time.
okay. Timelines, yes.
Yeah, and with all that, like, it's confusing to us, so let alone trying to communicate that to stakeholders that we want their input and to be on our team. So I just think we need to do a better job of really clarifying our timeline. So, and not something we're gonna be able to do tonight, but something that we definitely have to have as we move forward.
Well, we can put an outline of. If you were going for a November 2026 bond. We can put an outline of, this is when Leland's gonna apply for the grant. This is when you get a notification. This is when you need to. Get out there and, boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And then that's the date, right? Of your bond passing.
Right.
Optimism.
Yes.
So I think we should go ahead and plan to have a pre-phase one discovery meeting without the stakeholders. To get through a lot of the data analysis and information gathering. And then we can filter that with what we're gonna share out to the stakeholders, so we don't lose them. I think that's a great idea.
I agree, and I think when we do get the stakeholders all together, it might be a smart idea just to set the stage. look, we're gonna be giving you a lot of information that might start to wear you down, but keep in mind, at this next piece, we are going to be asking you, we're going to be getting your feedback. So even though it feels like we're just giving you a bunch of information right now, you will need this when we ask you questions. So then it might be a little bit more exciting for them to understand.
Right,
What we're
what,
giving
yeah,
them.
why
There's a
we're
test
giving
later.
them this information, yeah, there's gonna be a test later. What you remember. So, before we, well, doesn't matter, we can look at dates, setting dates for meetings or talk about who our stakeholder group is. Let's talk about who our stakeholder group is.
Who was the best? No, it's just a broad range and we had an application process, right?
Oh, did you?
Well, remember if we did
I don't know, with application or just a submit your interest
Yeah.
type of a.
I'd like
Google
this.
Form or something.
And again. This might be wrong. I'd like it, anyone who wants to help, like, anyone who wants to be on the team and talk about this, we want you, you know.
You definitely wanna
yeah.
put that broad
Yeah, I think
one
we do
out.
some like strategic deal, like, oh, we want someone from the city and the county, and
Mhm.
Parks and Rec, and. You know, someone representing in the business community, but then I think I want any family or any person. Is interested, we want them to participate, we want their input, so.
You might consider some of those key stakeholders joining the core group. So they are listening to that long data collection, right? And they're listening to the processing and how this all goes behind, the behind the scenes stuff.
I'm gonna speak out loud here to Eric. Can we put something on the website for this? Could you put
Oh, yeah.
something
They're
together?
on Facebook and.
Because I know that, I mean, if they can go there and read about like hey, here's our long range facilities, this is we've had our first meeting and this is what we would kind of like to see, if you're interested.
Yeah, I mean, we could even go beyond just like posting these to YouTube, these videos, we could kind of dedicate an area on the website where we're posting to them and we're building out kind of a.
Yeah.
We're kind of highlighting the long range facility committee and what we're doing, and it makes me even wonder about like, is the report that we're gonna go through as a core team, is that something that's available for public consumption, that we can make available, and people, if they wanna spend their time reading through the detail, then they can? I mean, I just think more knowledge and awareness of the
Absolutely.
true condition of our buildings is gonna be valuable for our community to understand,
I love it.
especially if they're interested in reading,
Yeah.
you know?
And I think like, as we know, like, just wanna be as transparent here, is that all the information we have, dive in and help us.
Yeah, maybe I can work with Tanya, we can just kind of dedicate a little highlighted page that we're building out.
And it gets updated after each meeting or something needed.
Videos and documents and everything. It's a really good idea.
Okay.
And that might also be thinking down the road, a great place to put like videos of things that might happen through winter. Or things that might be happening now, like, hey, at the middle school, we have a new fountain that we didn't plan on, I don't know, so.
It's water waterfall.
New water.
New water
yes. Just something of that to where, I mean, that might be not necessarily a show and tell, but people who can't get out, people that can't make, to physically get someplace, they'll be like, oh, wow, that's awesome, but it's not even part of the plan, but, those kinds of things, so. Maybe for later on.
Yeah, little highlights of each facility so people can see them on the website, if they don't have kids at that school, they don't have, any connection to these schools, or they don't go on one of the tours that we offer. Leland walks and somebody videos you and you
We
can
could do
say,
that would be.
"Mhm. These are the highlights, and you get the kids in there, right? This really affects our learning, right?
Do you have video
Teachers.
of the science wing from the summer, from early fall of the temperatures? That would be a fun one.
That one's hard to show. 'Cause
That's why you
But-
show the temperature while you're, kids were in class at that.
There's ways to do it, though. I could work on it next time we have like some kind of weird, thing going on, cause
Right.
we could show the trend in our control system,
Yeah.
show what's going on there.
Mhm.
It would be an easy
Something,
way to show it.
just something to highlight it, like, hey, this is
this is a.
Yeah.
Issue, but. I digress, I apologize.
Good.
So, again, stakeholders. I named out a few organizations in town. Do you have other ideas of stakeholders that you wanna reach out to, wanna engage?
Yeah, I think we definitely pull a list of all representatives, you know, like how the community charters, getting people that are involved. We could pull the list of and look at all the different community groups we kind of targeted before and just get names and do like, targeted invitations, but then also open it up for the public as a whole. Yeah, we've also since improved our communication systems with Parents Square. If we could send something out to all families, a text if they want to get involved, so.
Or even on the, does each school do a newsletter, a weekly newsletter?
Yeah.
Be in there.
Yeah,
Is there anything that's out of scope in this? I remember the last time we did this in 22. Toward the end, we said, okay, let's start looking at athletic fields and additions there. Is that part of the? Is that part of this, not just buildings?
A lot of stuff
Grounds
came
as
up
well.
last time after we did the long range facilities plan, so I don't,
Yeah, it came up during the bond planning.
yeah, and we'd
Right.
rather have it all
gyms and.
up now.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think
we will include
Athletics.
those types of things as well.
We do need to.
I'm just thinking
include
about
those types
whether
of
we would
things,
need
too.
Yeah,
stakeholder voice on.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll make
Certainly
sure-
Athletics,
Stuff outside of
and
those.
youth sport and Parks and Rec, and yeah, we definitely need their voice, cause.
And I'll talk to Rob and the middle school ADs, we got two that bouncing back and forth, so I'll talk to those two and then they can. Make sure that if they have coaches that want to give us some input, we can include them,
stadium as well.
yeah.
So do we just you want us to generate a list between now and then?
Yeah, generate a list,
Yeah.
and then we can help you with a introduction letter, what is entailed with being on this stakeholder community group. Absolutely.
Maybe we can do that, put on cabinet agenda for the next.
So looking at starting in November and December is a hard time to start, but working back from April 1st, April 6th deadline. You know, one meeting a month, that puts us in that time period. How do you all feel about kicking this off at, not the end of November, so Thanksgiving's the last week of November, like the first week of December? That gives our group November to work through the data analysis and getting key players involved.
Yeah, I think we've already confirmed a date once a month that works for everyone in this
Okay,
room,
yeah.
so.
Yeah, what's that?
We can send
Let's
those.
hear it.
So what's November?
We did.
You're a high achiever.
Yeah.
Was I not?
We're trying.
I think you.
Okay.
We have November
Hey,
13th
Jenny?
or December 18th. Those are the 2 dates that we have set already. But we can, we want to tweak those.
November 13th,
Yeah, November 13th at 4 or December 18th at 4.
Things have changed. November 13th, we have that.
Oh,
So take care of us, I read this. I was supposed to get me.
yeah,
As long as it's 4 or later, I'm good.
Okay.
What, I just
So
don't
maybe-
know. I don't think the 13th was something, though, was it
the
something?
13th is there, and I have a Pell View meeting at 5.
So you don't-
So we have to leave it.
Oh, yeah.
Forward. So we have some tentative dates, maybe we could lock in between now and when this group meets again, we could lock in a list of potential community participants and then finalize key dates. for that.
So an hour, as we can see, goes by really fast. Knowing that other people have commitments, a lot of these meetings are gonna take an hour and a half. Starting at 4 to 5:30 isn't that hard, speaking as a parent, depending on how old your kids are, to be involved. Teenagers now, I can be out all night, they, you know, care when mom comes home anymore. As long as I feed them, send them money.
So
are you guys good with like a pre-phase one meeting with the core group in early November?
Mhm. Yeah, that could be that November 13th.
Well, we can't do
thought
that
that-
date.
Oh, we can't
Yeah,
do it now.
can't do that.
Okay.
Before that, maybe that.
Yeah.
Is that?
We could do it before that date. Cause you guys wouldn't have to have a ton of stuff prepped for that meeting, right?
No. We are gonna have
That's only a
time.
couple weeks away now.
So what date?
Well, the 10th is out.
That's
Yeah,
what we
November
do
10th
for-
is out.
we do like the 4th or the 5th, which is the Tuesday or Wednesday.
All I can see is the calendars for people. I
Yeah,
can't see.
that's okay. Let's see here. This room's not available on the 4th. What about Monday, the 3rd?
Where's room?
Mondays are harder for me, but that's just me, the one running all your
This
meetings.
room's not available on the 5th, you said?
The 4th.
No.
We could do the
Everybody's
5th.
not available. Looks like everyone's calendars are open for that one.
4th.
Fourth,
4th.
We could
Yeah,
do
yeah.
the 5th location.
the
Oh,
fifth,
the 5th, yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
November
The
5th.
5th is open.
5th is open, yes.
Are you open on the 5th?
Yes.
I'm open on the 5th.
Okay.
This sounds fantastic.
yeah, it
November
does.
5th, 4 to 5:30 here.
We have a review board.
Are you gonna send them?
I can do two.
Somebody will
That one down.
put something on my calendar.
Yeah, I'll do a calendar invite. Everyone, how's that?
Karen and Robert, I'm not sure if you heard that, we're looking at November 5th. From 4 to 5:30 for our board group pre-phase one meeting.
That works. Works for
Yep,
me.
that works too.
Mhm.
Yep. Thank you.
And then the phase one meeting, did you
Phase
wanna
one,
do until early December, maybe?
yeah, so. Well, Joel had December 18th.
But that would have been, would that put us behind?
Yeah, mine.
Because that would be the second meeting.
Cause you'd have to double up a January or February meeting to get caught back up.
Well,
We could go
You could do like
29.
early or December.
December, the first week of December or something.
December 3rd looks like it's pretty open.
And then 2 weeks later, like on the 18th. Is that pushy?
Leland's like, oh, this is great. She's
Yeah.
like, hold on a minute.
Wait, I have, the
Okay.
18th would be number 1,
Yeah.
number 2, number 3. Right, and then number 4. That doesn't give us much time to get it done before 4/6. Right?
That doesn't get, it. No, it doesn't get much time to get it set before 4/6. That's,
Yeah, that's,
so the board meeting in April is on the 13th. So I wanted it at the week before, so you had everything that prior week. Which you may want it actually the week, 2 weeks before that, right?
Yeah, because I have to send the packet out on April 6th, so if I could get it by April 1st. Maybe Wednesday.
How many stakeholder meetings do we need? 4.
So that would put us on.
Right.
I said I liked math earlier, but apparently I failed.
He doesn't like that.
But if we're gonna do a pre-phase one meeting, that means we need 5 meetings.
Yeah.
yeah,
And so the first one would be early November. Got it? That's the pre-phase one. Then your phase one could be early December. And then you could keep your next meeting December 18th or whatever.
yeah, so that would be number 2.
That'd be number 2, and then you'd be right back on schedule.
Oh, I was counting wrong though. I was counting wrong. So you wouldn't need 2 in December. So you do a pre-phase one in November.
Right.
And then you do 1 in December, 1 in January, 1 in February, and 1 in March.
Okay,
So we're okay.
but that's enough time.
That's.
1 month or less than a month.
To put a report together.
That's why I was thinking if you could just
Uh-huh.
shift everything.
Yeah, if we could keep with the first week of the month, then that would be okay. But if we're doing these meetings towards the end of the month, then
That's
that
harder.
is pushing it.
So
Yeah,
can
if
I
we're
just
like-
look at?
For the
calendars
first
and
Wednesday of the
confirm?
month, that would be great.
As long as it's not Monday or Thursday.
Okay, well, we can
Okay,
do,
look at
kind of
calendar.
conceptually figure that out and lock in some dates.
But as of right now, we are locked into November 5th, 4 to 5:30. Yes, okay, and then Miss Tammy, you'll just get a hold of us for the rest of them, correct? Yep. I'll
We
work on
can
that.
finalize the rest of those at that meeting. That's fine with that.
Sooner you get them on the calendar.
Okay, we can do it
Then-
tomorrow. Yeah, you're right,
Do it tomorrow.
because mine, you fill it fast.
So meetings 1 through 4 will be big groups, so a big room.
And pre-1.
And pre-1 can be here, November 5th can be in here.
Do you want me to schedule the room or keep?
I'll schedule the room, because I'll attach to the meeting invitation.
Okay,
Where's a bigger room?
We could do the middle school,
what
we could do the
pick,
middle school library,
pick the worst school.
right? Middle
That's
school,
cool.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe you do it at a different school each time too, then you can do a little tour of the school.
It's a great idea.
Don't have any of them at Barnes Butte.
If we had, if we had enough, if we had a small enough, we could do one at several other schools. That we could.
Even in each of the schools'
Yeah,
libraries,
each
you
of the
could
schools.
fit 30 to 50 people
Mhm.
pretty easily, so I love
The
that
high
idea.
school, we might
Yeah.
wanna find a different spot if it's under construction. There's lots of spots at the high schools.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Alright.
Yeah.
Then the last things, I know we're a little over time, is I sent Leland a list, so we've got our core team, we've got our stakeholders. If we could ask each school administrator for a floor plan that shows the teacher of each school like that, boom,
They're gonna be in a electronic file, so you can pull them up.
love it. We talked about when the next bond is, as early as November 26th, possibly May 27. And then, we'll get into this later, I don't need the answer today, but to think about what your ideal capacity is. At each school, so that's more of a,
And I
Got started that way.
I've got old notes that I've just. Just one, so.
perfect, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
What other questions, Robert, Karen? Was I supposed to ask that I haven't asked yet?
I think for me, and we don't need it immediately, but just looking at capacity information, I don't know if you've had any enrollment study done in the past few years, or just looking at historic enrollments for the past few years could be helpful. And then also I would ask if you're working with a financial advisor like Piper Sandler or something, at some point it'll be good to kind of get information from them about when we start to look at tax impacts and any numbers they've run for you.
What other questions do you have?
Oh my God, I mean right now.
Yeah, thank you.
Questions are gonna come up, thoughts are gonna come up, send them to Leland. Leland knows how to get a hold of me all hours of the day and night, unfortunately, but that's okay.
I've never called you in the middle of the night.
No, you haven't. Yeah,
It's the first time for
there's
everything.
the first, but he does know how to get, well, my phone will be off. I am here to help you, to serve you. Our team is, we're really excited about this, and as Karen was saying, we're gonna tailor this to your needs, so hearing that, that feedback from last time, and I have a lot of ideas about the group who helped with the bond planning the first time. I don't know what you guys did the second time. You took it all on your own shoulders that time, so, lots of ideas there, and we are here to make this process work for everybody, and I think the core thing that we can do a lot better is get people involved, get more people involved and seeing these facilities and seeing how they impact the learning environments of the kids and the students and the staff.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, the meeting's adjourned.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.